Hey folks, Will here. Today we're going to take a look at a Harrington and Richardson Model 165 Leatherneck. Many of you will recognize the moniker Leatherneck as being a nickname for the United States Marines. The Model 165 is a 22 caliber long rifle, semi-automatic civilian adaptation of the Harrington and Richardson Reising Model 65. Which was adopted by the Marine Corps as a training rifle shortly after World War II. Some of you may have picked up that I was in the Marine Corps for a couple of years. A good friend of mine gifted this rifle to me, and it certainly has some sentimental value. The rifle features a Redfield rear peep sight and makes an excellent plinking rifle for those who prefer our iron sights. Today we're going to field strip the rifle for cleaning and take apart the bolt. My daughter Arden will be helping us. So Arden, whenever you're ready. First thing that she's going to do is loosen the screw on the bottom of the stock that attaches the barrel assembly to the stock. Once she's loosened that completely up, the barrel slides out the top. Next, she's going to rotate the barrel so that the magazine well is up, and we're going to try to find the hole in the recoil spring guide rod. That hole is generally going to be straight up. If it's not, you can stick a scribe in it like she's doing now and locate it so that it's straight up. She's going to take and compress the action rod and recoil spring, and then there's a little hole in the action rod that she's going to insert that scribe and gently push down as she's letting it out, until the scribe drops in and she can capture the recoil spring. At this point, she pulls the action rod back and the scribe has captured the recoil spring. Now she's going to remove the magazine well by unscrewing the knurled nuts. They should be finger tight, and setting them to the side. Under the knurled nuts there are two washers. The washers have little tangs on them. She's going to pull those off, and then she's going to lift the magazine well off and set it to the side. Now she's going to lift the action rod off, set it to the side, and she's going to, at this point, she wants to drop the hammer and send the hammer home. So the hammer is captured in the back right now, back here. She's setting a screwdriver in there so that when the hammer comes forward, it doesn't strike the firing pin and drive the firing pin into the back of the breech. Once she's done that, she can pull the screwdriver out and let the hammer fall against the back of the bolt. Now she's going to remove the bumper plug from the back of the barrel assembly. Remember that the bumper plug has a spring behind it, so because we dropped the hammer, it's not going to shoot across the room, but there is going to be a little bit of spring pressure against it as you take it out. Remove the bumper plug, remove the mainspring, and now you can pick up the barrel and drop the hammer and the bolt out the back of the barrel assembly. And at this point, we are field stripping complete. From here, we're going to go ahead and remove the firing pin and the extractor from the bolt. So the first thing she's going to do, she's going to locate the back end of the firing pin. She's going to press in on the firing pin and hold it flush against the spring pressure. On the side of the bolt, there is a firing pin retaining pin, and she's going to push that firing pin retaining pin out while she's got her finger depressing the firing pin. It should slide out nice and easy. Firing pin has a spring with it too that should come out when you remove the firing pin. And now we have the firing pin removed. So the last step is to remove the extractor. To remove the extractor, she's going to pull the extractor out slightly to the point where she can kind of see in the bottom of the bolt between the edge of the extractor and the bolt itself. When there's a little bit of gap there, she can work her screwdriver in there, and then once she's gently pulling out with her finger while she's twisting the screwdriver to break the back end of the extractor loose. You just kind of want to gently pry outwards and twist your screwdriver at the same time, and the extractor will come right out. And there's a little spring keeper on the behind the extractor that you can just kind of tap the bolt and it should fall right out. There's also a spring in the bolt, but I haven't yet got it to come out of the bolt, and I really don't want to take it out because it's pretty small and I don't want to lose it. So we're going to call this stripping complete. To start the reassembly, she's going to insert that little spring keeper from the end of the bolt into the little slot for it. And she's just going to let it go drop backwards. We've put it in there so that the rounded tip is toward the front of the bolt. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure if that's correct or not. I like putting it in that way because it seems to move a little bit more freely on the back of the extractor. And also, you can get the extractor out a little bit easier. If somebody knows that it should go the other way for certain, please leave that comment below and we'll take a look at it. Next, she's going to put the extractor in. So she's just kind of setting it in the slot, chasing that little spring keeper down, and gently pushing in from the same time that she's depressing the spring. And you'll hear it just kind of snap into place when she's got it. There it goes. Good job. And next she's going to install the firing pin. So the firing pin has a little notch that's taken out of the edge of it. Can you turn that sideways? Thank you. When we install it, the firing pin retaining pin is going to go in that slot and keep the firing pin from inside the bolt. It's going to be important that we get the orientation of that slot correct. So what you're going to do is you're going to rotate it so that the slot is toward the center of the bolt. Slide it in, and then you should be able to see through the firing pin retaining pin hole. If you can't see through it, then you probably don't have it quite lined up yet. She's then going to take and insert that pin nice and easy back into the bolt. And if you've got your firing pin depressed flush with the end of the bolt, that firing pin retaining pin will slide in nice and easy. Now she's getting ready to insert the bolt back into the barrel assembly. And so the first thing that we want to do before we do that is notice that right here along the side of the bolt, there's a slot. And that slot is for the ejector that's inside the barrel. Inside here, just barely see it right there. That ejector here is what kicks the spent casing out the side of the barrel, and we're going to have to get that slot lined up with that ejector. She's going to slide it in from the rear. If at any point it gets kind of stuck along the way, she has the firearm on fire. It's not on safe, so she's going to depress the trigger and let it slip past. It's probably going to get caught up a couple of times as you work it through here. Each time you just kind of push the trigger and continue to push it forward. She's lining up the bolt as she's sliding it in to make sure that it is perfectly lined up with that ejector. And she's using a cleaning rod to kind of push it gently forward. And wow, she got it pretty easy that time. Generally, you have to wiggle it a little bit in order to find the perfect spot for that ejector to ride through the slot. Next, she's going to take and insert the hammer with the striking face forward. And again, it's going to slide in a half inch or so, and then she's going to have to depress the trigger to get it to continue to slide forward. She's going to use the mainspring to push the striker forward as she does this. That was once, and then you press it again twice. And then you're going to be left with about 1 inch of the spring hanging out the back of the barrel assembly. She's going to take and insert the bumper plug over the top of the mainspring, making sure she gets it in there into the slot correctly. And then this is a little bit of a fight. you have to, because you're pressing against the spring, but you want to make sure you don't cross thread that bumper plug. So I'm going to go ahead and thread that all the way in. Next, she's going to take the action rod and slip it. There's a tab on the back of the action rod here that she's going to slip into the slot in the bolt right here. If she needs to, she's going to pick up this little lever here. She can do that by putting it on safe, as she just did, and then that action rod just slips right into the bolt. At this point, she can take the magazine well and set the magazine well back over top of the action rod. These little washers that she puts on next have little tangs on them, and the tangs you want to go down in this orientation. They wrap around the sides of the magazine well, and those tangs prevent them from rotating. Then she's going to take and she's going to put on the knurled nuts and screw those in. The big slots for the spanner wrenches will go on the top, and on the bottom there are little divots that there's little high spots in those washers, and you can kind of hear it making a clicking action as you screw it in. Screw those in nice and tight. Then she's going to depress the action rod, compress the recoil spring a little bit, pull her scribe out, and let the action rod out. And at this point, we are almost complete. Now she's going to rotate the barrel over. She's going to locate the trigger into the trigger guard in the back, about a 10-degree angle. When she does that, then she slips it, the magazine catch here through the hole in the stock, rotates it down, and screws in that stock barrel retention screw. And that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them. And thank you, Arden, for joining me and helping me make this video.